All right.
Live with my man, Coach Hammett,
Yes,
Penn
sir.
State
Yes, sir.
Wilkes-Barre championship coach, national
Yes, sir.
champion.
National championship, man. National championship.
We had to do this for the people, man.
Yes, yes. Long overdue, man. Long overdue. One,
Facts.
one of two interviews. One of two
That's a fact.
interviews. Got to do it.
So give
Got to
us a
show it.
rundown, man.
This
Give us a rundown, a little bit about who you are, man.
Bronx, New York native. Uh, played my basketball at. I played my basketball at Luzerne County Community College in Pennsylvania. Then played at St. Francis University, and then got a chance to play 8 seasons professionally overseas and here in the states. And uh, was a the head coach at Cecil College, which is a junior college in Maryland. And now I'm the head men's basketball coach at Penn State Wilkes-Barre University in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
National champion.
National champions, 2019 national champions.
Facts. Facts. You
National
got the ring
champions.
on?
Now, yes, sir. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
my man
Of
got
course, I
the
got the
ring
ring
on.
on. 2019
Yeah.
national. Gotta
That's a
show the
fact.
ring,
That's a
man.
fact. That's a fact.
Got to.
Well,
You
let's
know,
get into it, man. You know.
this is what this is. midnight chat with Kai. So I'm on duty. Let's get
That's
it
a
in.
fact. That's a fact, man. Like I just, I had to get you up here because, like for many reasons, because dudes is just in lack of knowledge and level and just playing like what's your like at your level they don't understand like it's consistency over names. Like
Well, my level is kind of underdog level. Um, you got a lot of guys that wind up coming to our level. Either guys that was under recruited, second chance guys, guys, a lot of transfer guys, a lot of guys that just was clearly underneath the radar, or late bloomer guys.
mm-hmm,
Everybody started to go Division One, and sometimes it don't work out that way. Either you're not good enough coming out of high school, you picked the wrong prep school, you know what I mean, or you went to a Juco and didn't get enough exposure, and then you end up going,
mm-hmm,
so you somehow you end up at our level. Um,
mm-hmm,
we get a lot of guys at our level that don't belong there, but sometimes it becomes the right fit. I know for us, that's one of the reasons why we've excelled, is because we got a lot of guys that were higher than our level, but it was just a right fit for them to be there, to be
mm-hmm.
playing at our level and playing. So we're fortunate enough to be one of those programs that actually get kids, despite the fact that our level is lower than Division One.
Got you.
Same exposure.
So
I mean, we get a lot of exposure. Um, I know my program. I can only speak for my program, but we play a nationally ranked schedule. We've been nationally ranked. I've been here 5 years. We've been nationally ranked 4 out of the 5 years. The only year we weren't nationally ranked was my first year here. We
mm-hmm,
play every home game is live streamed. Um, we've been fortunate for the last 3 years out of the 5 years to play Division One programs. So
okay,
we're
okay.
we're going out and we're playing the Division Ones, and we play a lot of Division Two universities that are nationally ranked programs or went to the NCAA tournament. So
So your strength of schedule is at the top where it should be.
is elite. Is elite. We
Mm-hmm.
we try to play up. My background. I was never scared of anybody. I'm always gonna play the best. I want to be the best. I think I'm the best. So I'm always gonna put my kids in that position for them to be battle tested and really see and really measure themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
We get kids that walk around and beat their chest and say, "Oh, I'm a Division One player." It's like, okay, well, we're gonna go down south, or we're gonna go up north. We can play some Division One teams and see where you're really working at. And that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much how we've done it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So at your level, it's like basically you gotta be able to effectively evaluate talent.
Um, for me personally, I think we do a great job at that. I mean, I came from a junior college where in 3 years we sent 13 guys Division One and 12 guys Division Two. Every player that left our program in a 3 year span all either graduated or left our program with scholarships. So being able to evaluate scholarship talent is probably one of my best attributes, as well as we've been able to have really good skill development things implemented inside the program for kids to get better and develop over the course of time. So for me, it's more or less we look at kids and we'll do the opposite of what a lot of programs do. A lot of programs don't want to evaluate talent. They don't want to develop any players. They want the finished product. And when I recruit kids, one of the things I do is I look and say, my first question is, can he, how does he fit in our program? I don't look at position or whatever. I just look at how does he fit in our program. Is he a good character kid? Can he score? Can he shoot the ball? Can he dribble the ball? Can he defend? If you can do those four things, you can play for us. Where you play on our scale and on our board depends on how hard you work and how fast you pick things up. But for me, when I go out and when I watch kids play, I look to see if you can do those four things, and if you can do those four things really, really well, and the better you can do them, the better you'll fit in our program. But if you're a guy that has, you can do a couple of those things, or you do some things really well, we will still develop you. We don't expect every guy to come in and be perfect. And that's what skill development is for. So we all willing to get in the gym and work to make guys better. So we always say that we want kids to come in and be better than they are when they leave. So, and I think judging, in the last 5 years, we actually did that. Like I said, we've done that with every player that's came to our program. Either skill wise, mentally, physically, you leave better than you came.
And the one thing I can say about that, like, watching your program, the growth of guys, and you guys, you get out and recruit, man. When I first started coaching, like, you guys get out and recruit, man. You come out and see that talent, like, you ain't scared to get your hand, you ain't scared to roll your sleeves up, and you go off of your evaluation and what you see, unlike most coaches who they're gonna either go off the name or they want the kid to be old as shit.
Well, for us, your game is your name. You got a lot of kids. Rankings never meant shit to me when I was growing up and I played, and I didn't expect anybody to back down from me because I was ranked or I had a name, so I wouldn't back down from anybody else. But when we go out and evaluate talent. How good are you? How well can you play? And where do we see you inside our offense and our style of play, our defense, how we play? And as a skill developer, yourself is that, every kid has upside. Work ethic, I think, is the main thing that we teach kids when you get here. This is how hard you need to train. This is how hard you need to work. This is how hard you need to run. This is how hard you need to play. This is what being in shape means. This is how, we beat those things in guys. Oh, you're working out 3 days a week. Okay, well, maybe you should work out 5 days a week out of 7. That's, and as a kid starts to work harder, then that's when it's like, all right, you start to see, okay, I'm getting better. And that as a skill developer, yourself, you got to crawl before you walk. But at the same time, if a kid wants it
push yourself
and he's hungry, you're gonna get results. And some kids' results are gonna be better than others, and a lot of that has a part to do in how bad the kid wants it. I can get in the gym with a player every day and work my ass off on him, but if he doesn't want it, then you're never gonna get anything out of it. So for us, it's, when I get with guys like you or get with other coaches, I always ask, how hard does the kid work? When you push him to the edge, how is he going to respond? Is he going to break? Is he going to go to the edge, or is he going to let you push him off, or is he going to keep going? Is he going to fight? Because there's a lot of kids out here that think they're good. And I know you see it more than I do. And they think they're really good and they're very talented and they're this and they're that. And the first thing that you see when they get to my level is he was just the best player on his team. He was the best player in that AAU program. He was the best player in high school. But now he's gotten here and he's playing with a bunch of talented players, and he's not the best player anymore. Does he fold? Does he go back in the gym and work on his game? Does he allow himself to be coached, or does he just clam in a shell and then, he wants to, transfer.
And I think that's the problem with, well, just talking about our city alone, I feel like that's the problem with like the incoming guys, like the incoming freshmen. Like, and it's not a knock against the coaches, but that goes back to coaches not coaching them, wanting to, you're going to let him take 20, 25 bad shots a game, and he only averaging 15, but he's shooting under 30 from the field.
I think it's that. But I also think that when you look at the AAU circuit and how it's built up, so you got Nike, you got Adidas, you got Under Armour. Those are the three main circuits. And the majority of those kids that play on that circuit will get a scholarship, be it Division I or Division II. And then you have the best player, or the leading scorer on a team in the PSAL, who probably averages 26 a game, and he's probably the best player on his team. His team probably wins 7 to 10 games, if that. And he believes he's a scholarship player. He believes that he's just as good as everybody else, and he's just underrated, and I'm better than this guy and that guy because I average more points than him. But if he got a chance to play on that same circuit, he would get exposed. And he probably would get exposed because those guys are really good. But because he's dominating these smaller AAU functions and not the big ones, he gets this false sense of reality that he's better than what he is. And he'll big time programs. Oh, I'm not a Division III player. I'm not a Division II player. I'm a Division I player. And then he'll go chase the fox that he's never going to catch. He'll end up going to prep school till he's 20 years old, and then he'll go to Juco, and then it'll be everybody else's fault when he had some of the best opportunities at maybe a Division II or a Division III. Now, there are some kids that don't play on a higher level and are kind of under the radar guys, but I think that's the part when it comes to them being educated and informed by the right people. Some kids are think they're Division I players, but they can't go left. Some kids are Division I players, but they don't know where to be and help defense. Some of them are Division I players and they don't know how to play without the basketball in their hands, how to cut, how to move, how to read defenses. So I think that, coaching is more than just putting the ball in the basket or dunking a basketball. It's more of actually a skill set and a mindset. And for me, when I go out and recruit, that's what I look for. I look for how does he play without the basketball in his hand. When you try to coach him, when his coach is trying to coach him, is he looking at him with an attitude, or he's really taking in what he's saying and then he's gonna go try it on the floor? Is that happening? And I think that it gets lost in translate. Kids get lost in translation a little bit just because of the fact that they're not being coached, they're not being taught. Now for me, you would know more than I do. I don't know if it's more of the high school coach doesn't have enough time. If there's enough hours. I don't really know all the rules to how high school works. So I couldn't tell you, that.
I mean, every program is different, so with that being said, the programs that's really winning and really putting in the time and the effort, those are, the guys that see the benefits of it. And then
absolutely,
it's like you could play on a non-circuit AAU team, but it's about where that circuit team is playing, that non-circuit team. So like for the program that I'm with, we're not with the Adidas anymore. We're not doing the Adidas thing, right? So what we did is all those big circuits, when they have like they're doing their circuit thing, like let's say EYBL is in Boston, we might be right outside of Boston, you know what I mean? But we're right in the same vicinity of them, probably 10 to 15 minutes. So coaches is gonna
still getting that same exposure.
You know, you want to mirror wherever those circuits at, so that you're getting the most out of it. You know, and I think picking your high school and your AAU is very big, because if you're like a kid that's not ranked and you're not because we're gonna call it for what it is. If you're in New York City and you're not playing in the Catholic school AA or Brooklyn AA in New York City, it's very hard that you're going higher than a D2. And when it comes down to that, it's every borough has that top school in their borough. But now it's that talent is getting watered down because some coaches aren't coaching, and then, you know,
our kids aren't staying home as well. You know, I'm starting to see a huge.
It's a better opportunity away. You know, if the reason the game has evolved,
but it depends on where you go, because you got a lot of and I mean this in no disrespect to anybody, but you got a lot of BS prep schools that these kids leave New York for, or
like me and you always talk, it's it's a matter of parents understanding, like, how much are you willing to invest in your kid? You know, like these boarding schools, I'm getting my guys in boarding schools, and there's boarding schools that start at the tuition is $35K, $40K for the year. And they're saying, well, listen, if you could pay 10, if you could pay 15, then we'll take them. You know, some kids' family is looking at, I can't even afford 7.
Well, that's a tough one, I think, because when you look at the risk versus the reward, you know, I have a 15-year-old son who, you know, I'm hoping that he doesn't have to go to prep school. But if I had to financially pay for my son to go to prep school, it's got to make sense. I think that, and it's just my opinion from a recruiting standpoint. I see a lot of kids, not just New York, but all over the country. I recruit kids all over the country. But I see a lot of kids who are actually jumping schools because they just want to go. They want to go to prep. I'm going to go to prep. I'm going to go to prep. They're not understanding that this is the level that you're going to be. Right now, you're a Division III player, and you probably are going to be a Division III player in a year, no matter how many 40, 50, 60 games you play. And you got to ask yourself as a parent, is it worth spending $10,000 on ifs and maybes, or getting him into the best Division III that's a good fit for him, and using that $10,000 for something for the family or something for his future, maybe a car, maybe him to have a little extra money on campus, whatever. To me, and maybe I'm old school, but prep is for you if it makes sense. And for me, if my kids maybe, he's got great grades, he's got some Division I's on him, and he's 10, 20, 30 points off of the SAT score to go Division I, I'll send him to prep school. If my kid's got a 2.0 or 179 GPA and he's going to Juco anyway, what are you prolonging it for? And then some kids use the term, I'm not freshman ready for college. So it's like, okay, if you're not freshman ready to play, talk to that coach and explain to him, hey, I don't think I'm ready. I'm 17, or this is my 3rd year of playing high school basketball, my 2nd year of playing high school basketball. Is it possible that I could redshirt my 1st year? You know, most
Oh,
coaches,
nobody wants to wait.
most coaches, I don't know any that I could look through my phone right now and say they're gonna say, no, I'm not gonna wait for the kid. You know, it's like, hey, I got another stud in my program, and this is somebody we're going to build up. And it goes back to, again, finding the right coaches that want to develop, finding the right coaches that is saying, you know what, well, you know, Sean's not ready, so but we're gonna bring him in, and in a year we're gonna put everything we got into him to make him ready next year. You know, and but every kid wants what every other kid has. You know, well, he went to a school that gives out 10 Nike bags, so I need to go to school that gives out 10 Nike bags. And he goes to a school that plays on ESPN, so I want to play on ESPN. And it's like, you know, these kids don't understand that scholarships are 1 year renewable in college. You know, a coach could love you this year and change his mind next year. You know, kids think that transferring is the answer. Oh, I didn't play as much as I wanted to play as my freshman year, so I'm going to transfer. And it's like, okay, well, you didn't play as much as you wanted to play your freshman year. Sit down with the coach and find out why. Because now you don't have much stats, and you transfer to another school, and it's not going to. Most times, it doesn't work there. You know, some kids get lucky, and some kids don't. And you're behind the eight ball, because now you're playing for a guy where you came from a school where you didn't play much, or you played and your numbers weren't good, and then now you're playing for a new coach who's looking at you like, okay, I'll take you as a transfer, but if you don't produce that first year because it's a learning curve, or you're just trying to figure things out, it takes a little longer. You struck out twice in his eyes, and even if he keeps you around, he's going to recruit over you. You know, so I think when these kids are picking schools, or these kids are picking situations, they just need to be more conscious to the decisions they're making. I think parents need to be informed. I think that it comes down to a situation of not just going to prep school because it just seems like it's cool. You know, just as, you know, or going to prep school to evade the reality of
what it is,
where you're going to end up a year anyway, because now you've put mom and dad in debt because you ran from your faith.
Like I tell guys, like, if you're gonna go prep, and the sense of it has to make so much sense. Like, you can't be a guy who's going prep and, you know, this was your first year playing basketball under the whistle, or
you're the eighth guy on your roster.
Yeah, like, if
at your high school.
I tell guys, you shouldn't want to go post grad or prep if you're a senior and average under 10 and under, because any real prep school, they're gonna have the best guy on either their AAU team or their high school team, and 9 out of 10 them guys are coming in averaging 20 or more.
Also too, a lot of guys are creating, and I know a lot of prep guys will see this and it's like, man, LeShawn, shut the hell up. But I gotta say it, but a lot of these guys, it's a money grab.
Yeah,
you know, it's you're gonna get a chance to play a big time schedule. You're going to Division I. You're blah 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 blah, and it's okay. I'm paying $10,000 to play a 50-game AAU schedule, and I'm not going to get anything out of it, because either these guys are lying about having the connections that they have, or after you've taken his money in March, he's scrambling for schools again. You know what I mean? So when you pick a school, it's like, well, how much exposure? Where are kids going? You know, because if you're a prep school coach and every kid is going Division II, or I'm not Division II, I'm Division III, and 1 or 2 guys are going Division II, then you suck as a prep school, because the kids aren't going anywhere that they can't go out of high school. You can get a Division III. You can get a Division III look by going to a couple of showcases or just sending your highlight tapes out. You know what I mean? So,
or getting with someone that can evaluate
exactly, getting with a scouting service. So for me as a you know, I got my coach hat on all the time, but as a parent, you can't
It's
sell me
scary.
on you can't sell me on me spending $10,000 for my son to go to prep school for you to
And
for him to
I,
end up
I
at a Division III a year later.
and that's why I don't try to. I wouldn't. I know guys that'll try to take a whole AAU team, and you can't do that because I feel like you're playing with these kids' dreams. You know what I mean? You got to be able to tell a kid, like, listen, you're not a Division II kid. You're not going to the NBA. You know what I mean? And I think that's more of the problem. Like how can a coach tell you? I watched the AAU coach tell a kid, "You're a D1 player. Like you can play at a D1." But when
I
every
have a
D1
did,
coach gives feedback, they're saying he's
he's
not at
not.
this level. Like,
But my question, and again, I have more knowledge than the next guy. But my question as a player would be to that AAU coaches, well, what makes you think that I'm a Division I player? You know, um, I talk to a lot of kids during the recruiting process. There are kids that I think, as we're recruiting, I'm like, man, I think this kid's got a chance to be a pro. And I'll tell them that. I think that if you come in, you work hard, you do what you got to do, blah blah blah, you got a chance. But I'll only say that to the ones that I actually think have a chance. And when I say have a chance, meaning I'm going off of the things that I've done in my past and what I've seen in my past as far as players I've helped play professionally, players that I know playing professionally, players that I've played against professionally. Like this kid may have that he may have that thing, or I talk to agents and teams a lot, and it's like, hey coach, I'm looking for this, or hey, I might be talking to an agent about one of my guys, and it's like, hey, I'm looking at, I want to play such and such here, but this team's looking for a back to the basket big. They can do this, and this. And I was like, shit, you're on a recruiting process, and it's like, well, you're looking at this kid. It's like, well, he's 6'10", strong, 240, athletic, blah, blah, blah. All the things that this agent is saying the team is looking for. It's like, well, he might got a chance in a few years if he can polish up this or that, and so as a father, hearing a prep school coach say, hey, I think you got a chance to be Division I, it's like, well, why do you say that? Have you ever sent anybody Division I is my first question. And because my next question to him is, one, have you sent anybody Division I? But two is, if you think my son's a Division I player, I want to know why. And then I want to know, what level do you see my son at? And I think that's the thing about parents. A lot of parents are so misinformed that they don't know what questions to ask. But the flip side to that coin is, you do have a lot of parents that don't want to hear the truth, the ugly truth. Every parent wants to hear their son is the best thing since sliced bread. They're really good. I think this kid could be a pro. I think he could play Division I, blah, 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 blah. And these coaches, they're lying to the kids.
Yes, they are.
And they're lying to them because instead of telling them the truth, it's like, hey, you're not a Division I player. Maybe you're a Division II player. But these kids only want to hear what they want to hear.
And I feel like, and that's why I feel like these guys, like, you got to be able to, if you can't, like, I try to be as open and honest with my guys as I can.
Sometimes it backfires.
Yeah,
sometimes it backfires. I can only imagine.
I've been called the hater for the last year on certain situations because I'll call the God honest truth. Like, kid might be good, but like, what makes you, like, if I could look at your highlight tape or something, and in 10 seconds something doesn't pop out to me, like in them first 10 to 25 seconds, don't nothing pop out to me.
Highlight tapes are tough.
Yeah, I mean, even in film though, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm one of those guys.
Oh, I hate highlight tapes.
I probably, I probably get 75 to 100 highlight tapes a week. During a basketball season, maybe 50. Once the season is over, probably 100. Hey, coach, can you
Mm-hmm.
take? I'm talking about, and when I say 100, I'm talking about through DM on Instagram, DM on Twitter, email to my Gmail account, or email to my Penn State account, and it's like, hey, coach, check this out. Hey, I want you to check me
Mm-hmm.
out. My name is such and such and such, and it's like,
Oh no, here's the favorite line. I got a dog. I want you to see, coach.
oh man, I get those. Hey man, I got
He's
a kid
great.
for
I got someone that's great for your program and don't
I
even
got
know how you play.
I got guys that email me all the time and say, "Hey man, I got a kid for you. He's a great fit for you." And it's like, dude, you don't know shit about my program. Or the
Mm-hmm.
kids that email me and say, "I would love to be a part of your program, and I'm really interested." And then when you talk to them on the phone, they don't know shit about your program. So
Mm-hmm.
what like I'd rather don't bullshit me. Just tell me I'm looking for a school. Can you look at my highlight tape and just
I can imagine
and just
the
tell me and just
the
tell me if you like it. And
then
for
you
me,
got the delusional kids that'll ask you 5 times in one day. You guys don't have like scholarships.
you guys don't give out full scholarships. And it's like, no, we don't give out full scholarships. You give out,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, I had a kid, crazy story. I went to a showcase. I'm not gonna name the showcase, but I went to a showcase once. Crazy shit. And I tell a kid that I'm the head coach at Penn State Wilkes-Barre.
Oh man, you ain't right.
The kid tells which is my school.
Mm-hmm.
The kid is super excited. He's so I mean he walks up to me
I know what you talk about.
before I could walk up to him. And he
Mm-hmm.
says to me, he says, I'm interested in coming to Penn State. I know a lot about your program, and I just want to play. I want to be a part of your program. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we're talking through text messages. We talk once or twice on the phone. And he says, he asks me about letter of intent and scholarships and all this. And I said, dude, we're not the main campus. Do you know that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're a branch campus of Penn State. And he's like, no, I didn't, I didn't know that. And I'm like, dude, you know, the head coach at Penn State's white. Like we're it's not like I got a bald head one day and I'm like, dude, we're 17 shades different from one another. There's no there's no fucking way possible that you
Mm-hmm.
could actually think that me and Pat Chambers are the same fucking person. And it was mind blowing
Oh
because
man.
he really he knew everything that he talked about was about the main campus. And I'm saying to myself, you had a pretty good year in high school. Won't say you had the greatest year, but you had a pretty good year. Showcase, he played pretty well. But to think that I
I know what
and,
you
and
talking about.
and numerous times I told a kid I'm the head coach at Penn State Wilkes-Barre. So it wasn't like I told him I was the assistant. Now if I said, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I was a coach at Penn State, then I could have seen how he kind of got lost in translation. And you know, I just said, these after that moment, I was like, these kids are delusional. Like these kids will tell you anything, not thinking that you're paying attention. And it's like, dude, I'm wide awake at this moment. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then, the kid winds up going to a Division I, and I guess told the world he was going to play, and he wound up walking on, and that's just a whole nother story. But I
Well, he
thought he
didn't
was
even walk on, but yeah.
I thought he was a talent. I thought he was a talented kid. I just thought that
Mm-hmm.
it's just delusional shit, and for me, it's like, listen, every kid wants that perfect school, and every coach wants that perfect player. Does that happen? Sometimes it depends on what everybody's looking for at that specific moment. When I
Mm-hmm.
walk in a gym and I'm walking, I say, into a showcase, I just want to see the guys that stand out. And the guy that stands out for me doesn't necessarily have to be the kid that scores all the points.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a workout last summer, and we signed a kid off. Literally, he just played hard, and he was just really good defensively. He was all over the place. He was tough. He was around. He played solid defense. He was tipped balls, got fast breaks, he dunked the basketball. He just played hard. And to me, that was better than any basket he could have scored, because we weren't recruiting him to be the leading scorer of our team. We were bringing him in to be a kid that was going to work hard, was going to play hard, and eventually he was going to get. And after a year, he was going to get his.
He becomes the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you know, Khalil White is our leading scorer, and Kevin Silverberg is our second leading scorer, and and it's like,
they're out the door.
These dudes can score the ball, and Jaden Hampton's out, lightning quick point guard, and so we've got 3 or 4 guards going out the door. So sit, learn, be quiet, watch your mouth, and do the right things, and in a year you inherit all the stuff that they leave, and and then the rest is history. And I think that just telling that that young man's story is just like, sometimes kids got to understand that when you walk in the door, you don't got to change who you are for us. Just go out there and just play.
Because those little things might be something that we need as a championship team that's going to get us over that hump.
If he would have scored every freaking basket in a workout, I don't know if we take him, because in my mind is he's going to come in and think that he's going to score the ball, and it's like, hey, Khalil White ain't letting you do that shit. Kevin Silverberg ain't letting you do that shit. Like, you gonna wait your turn, and you can score when we give you the ball and when you get open. But this is our team, and that was something that
you gonna learn.
He was, it was, and so for me, it's like when I walk in the gym and it's a showcase, that's what I want to see. When I go to a high school game, I'm looking for different things. I'm looking for how he's coached. I'm looking at when a coach gets on him, how he responds. When his teammate makes a bad pass or make a mistake, how is he responding to that? When people are in the crowd and saying things, how is he responding to that? I went earlier this year. We went to look at a junior college kid, and the kid averaged about 19 a game. Kid lightning quick, low guard, and scored. During one of the timeouts, the bench is behind the bench is behind the bleachers are behind the bench. So somebody from the crowd, yelled over and was like, "Hey, such and such, yo, man." He said something to him, and he turned around, and I guess they wanted to take a picture of him, and the kid posed for the picture in the middle of the game. And I came to see him play, and I tapped my dad, and I got up and I left. And I said, this kid's not focused on winning. He's just focused on the moment. Like, he just, and it's like, you can't win with guys that, think like that. So when I go to games, I'm a little different than everybody else. I look for different things. I look to see how guys play. I love good character guys. I like team guys. I like guys that just want to play hard and win, because the way we play, the style of play, and the way we get after it, everybody's going to get their moment to shine anyway. So we don't need someone that needs to pull the shine toward them, the light toward them. We don't need that. You're going to get it regardless. So just, so when guys are like glory hogs that want it like that, they become problem childs, and not worth it. Now on your level, it's hard, because you trying to keep everybody happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's egos. I think the parents is probably the biggest, because everybody wants their son to be the guy, or I want my son to do what he's doing. Why my son can't have that ring, or you know what I mean? And it's like I said, my new thing, I mean, parents are lucky that this COVID situation happened, in a way I say, because my new thing, I was coming into this season, like, if we go on the road, your parent gets 2 times to yell out some wild, outlandish things in the crowd. If they tell you shoot it, when I'm telling you to pass it, or, they tell you go coast to coast and I'm telling you we slowing it down. After they do that, I'm going to show up at their job. And, like, let's say mom works at the Social Security building, or let's say mom works at the welfare building. You know what I mean? I'm gonna come to mom's job and I'm gonna yell, press enter, press enter. No, not there. Backspace, backspace. Like that was my new thing that I was gonna do. You know, and
what's crazy to piggyback off that. So I don't deal with parents after the recruiting process. And so let me clarify that, because I know parents probably gonna watch this and say, what do I mean? During the recruiting process, I'll talk to a parent. I'll talk to a parent even when the kid's on campus. But as far as basketball, I don't talk to parents in regards to playing time, why such and such not playing, why such and such sitting on the bench, why I don't talk to them, because they're not there at 4:00 every day or 6:00 every day right now when we practice. So you can't necessarily tell me why. You don't know why your son's not playing, or he's not getting the playing time that you feel he's playing, because you're not there. So you technically don't know what's going on. You don't see him not doing things hard in practice, or getting his ass busted in practice, or not running lines hard enough in practice. You don't see those things. And because you don't see those things, you just like you just said, every parent is worried about their child. They're not worried about the next kid's child. And I understand that.
And I can say that, like, I've been able to, like, this group that I've had, I can say that I really had some good parents that, you know, they were for the team. Shit, they might have been more for the team than the team was when we first got together, you know, so.
I've had in my coaching years, I've had some amazing parents. And then I've had some parents where it's like, I've rolled my eyes a little bit, because they don't know the game enough to know what they're talking about. And, you know, it's just, my son's not playing, or my son's not playing enough, or my son is not doing this. And they just don't understand. It's like, hey, you know, he's not there. I remember, crazy story. I remember, she's probably the parent of I coached a kid named Martell McLean, and he wowed the hell out of me in his workout. He was like one of the third or fourth kids I signed when I was coaching in junior college. And he was probably the best kid I've ever seen in practice in my life. If you got on the phone and you talked to every junior college kid that played with him that year, they would have said it. Like, he was really, really good. But nothing translated over to the games. This was a kid that could get 40 in a practice, but wouldn't shoot the ball twice in a game. And his mom would sit across from the bench, and she would scream, "Put my son in the game, put my son in the game, put Martell in the game, put Martell in the game." And great kid, great parents, great family. So one game we're beating somebody bad, and she's like, put Martell in the game. So I put Martell in, he goes off like 12. He lightened it up, boom, 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 boom. Everybody hype, Martell. Next night, about 2-3 days later, we playing a good team. I go to Martell.
Show up.
I go up to Martell the bench. He wouldn't shoot the ball to save his life. He wouldn't shoot it. Every time he had a wide open one, he kicked it. I'm talking about, I had the best point guard in the country. Charles Burley led the country in assists, went Division I, took us to the national tournament. He was a fucking stud. He's getting in the lane off the bounce and just giving it up. Boom, 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 boom. And this kid would pump fake and put it down, pass it. It got so bad that night that his mother stood up and said, "Take my son out the game. Take his ass out the game." And I'll never forget that story. And I'll never forget that moment, rather. And I enjoy telling that story because after that game, she never said anything else. You know,
that's like a kid of mine's I got, man. Well, I had,
and that was perfect.
James Harden in practice.
Practice All-Americans. That's what I called him. I used to say it to him all the time. And don't get it wrong, he was a good kid. He was a good kid. He never complained about playing time. There were times where he was like, "Don't, ignore my mom." And I was like, I had already in my mind, I was like, man, I'm not really paying your mom no mind. You're gonna play when you're supposed to play, and when you're not supposed to play, you're not gonna play. And I thought that he could have had a hell of, in closing, I thought he could have a hell of a career if he just was just more aggressive. He was very nonchalant, very cool, and he just I think it probably was a
He didn't
lot of
want it. He didn't want it as much.
it's just he
Yeah.
didn't want it. And so for
He
me,
peaked his fun point of it.
and I've had parents, I've had a few parents call me and say, "Hey man, I don't understand. I'm just trying to understand why such and such playing." While I had to tell one parent on the phone once, "Your son's not playing because he's getting his ass busted every day in practice, and there's no way that I can put him on the floor and he's getting his ass busted." And I literally said, "I don't normally do this, but you've been very consistent about wanting to know. And I said, your son's getting his ass busted every day in practice, and he's got to do these 3 or 4 things better before he's going to get on the floor. If you think that I'm bullshitting you, call your son." And what I respect about that kid, I won't say his name, but what I respect about that kid was his mother actually got off the phone with me, called him, and he didn't lie to his mother. He told his mother what was going on in practice and how he was playing in practice. And his mother called me back. She never apologized, but she called me back. She called me back and actually said, "I spoke to my son, and just, he told me what's going on. Please don't give up on him." And I told her flat out, I said, I'm not going to give up on him, but I can't reward him with something that he didn't earn. I said, because if I do it for one, I got to do it for everybody. And I said, and the one thing that I tell guys when we recruit you, and it's the one thing I tell you, our first meeting before our first practices is you won't get shit for free here. If there's anything you want, you got to fucking earn it. And I think that, I make that perfectly clear in that damn meeting. So it's on you to really decide if you want to take it for what it is. But, I roll the balls out. I don't give a fuck if you're a freshman. I don't give a fuck if you're a senior. If you really want to play, you got to show up, and you got to fight for what you want. And that's not hard to do in our program at all. It's not hard to do because we are very upfront with, I got 8 eyes. I mean, it's my eyes. It's my pop's eyes. It's Coach D's eyes, Coach Ray. So you got enough guys in the room, and we don't always agree. As coaches, we bump heads. I think this guy's playing better than this guy. And Coach Ray would jump up and take his fitted hat off and say, "Are you serious? You gotta be crazy. Like, this kid, he busting his ass every day." And then Coach D will fold his arms and be like, "Man, what you watching?" And they'll go. And then everybody, we turn to Pops, and Pops like, "Well," Pops will say his thing. And then now I got to make a decision. You know what I mean? So I could, it to me is just like, you just got to go out there and you just got to hoop. And I think that so many kids, and I in this part like this, so many kids want everything given to them in this day and age and don't want to work for it. And I think that's the biggest problem. And every kid will look for a way out of working for what they want. They will work for what they want as long as they know they're going to get it. My son included. My son knows that he's going to get a pair of sneakers. Friday, he gonna clean the house, he gonna do the dishes, he's off, but after he get the sneakers, I gotta dig in his ass once or twice, take the garbage out and do things because he done got what he wanted. And I think a lot of kids, they don't want to work out, they don't want to do things. It's interesting. I said, I just said this to my younger brother this morning. I'm interested to see how many of our guys and how many kids actually come back better, being that they had to improvise due to COVID. How many kids are outside working on their ball handling? How many kids are out here running? How many kids are out here really doing push-ups? How many kids are watching film? How many kids are sitting in the bed form shooting? I remember I couldn't go outside and I had a ball and I was form shooting in my house. You know what I mean? How many kids are doing things to get better? Or are they going to wait to get on campus to get better? And we're old school, so it's if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
Yes, sir.
These kids don't understand that,
at all.
The gyms could open up officially tomorrow, and I could be in your city, or I could be home. I could be in New York. I could be in Pennsylvania. I could be in Philly, and whatever kids is in the gym, how many of them in shape? How many of them we do 10 suicides in 10 minutes? How many of them can play
Oh,
more
my
than
gang
3
ready.
pickup games? You
My
know,
boy's ready.
and that's the thing. It's like these kids, they want it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh well, shit, I'll get in shape, coach, if you give me a scholarship, you're giving me an opportunity. It's like, no, you got the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. What are you gonna do? You know, so it's interesting. I don't think we'll ever get the prep school, JUCO, you know, kids going to their level thing right, because a lot of people who don't have the education of what you're supposed to do, they just don't
And
have it.
I
Most
think
coaches like, oh, you can't go to that level because you know you can't go there because you know they don't send anybody anywhere. Or you can't go to this
my
junior
only
college.
problem with it is my biggest problem I have with it is coaches' lack of understanding colleges and the packages. And like I had one high school coach, one PSAL coach tell me he didn't know that his kids qualified for EOP, or that they could go to any school in New York State for free if their parents don't make over a certain amount of money in a year. Like, how are you not trying to find out these things to, and then now when you find out, okay, I could go to school for free at the Division III level, no one's talking about that though. You're not happy to say, oh, I'm going D3, but you're not going to tell them how you're going to school for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, coaches being on their players about the FAFSA, and just encourage, like, giving them the knowledge of what's going on, and as the coach trying to figure out, okay, this USCAA thing, I've never heard of it. Let me get to know what's going on here. Oh, so the USCAA D1 schools, they get 8, 10 scholarships, and they get Pell. Guys aren't trying to figure these things out. I had one PSAL coach tell me he didn't even know what an NAIA school was. I walked out the room.
You should have. And my reason of saying you should have walked out the room was the people don't understand, and anybody that watches this, hopefully they learn something from it. NAIA was the first association of college basketball. It wasn't the NCAA. It was the
Mm-hmm.
NAIA. The NCAA tournament is basically mirroring the NAIA's national tournament. You know, is held in Kansas City, Missouri. I was fortunate to go to get invited to the small college basketball banquet last year when we won the national championship. So I actually got a chance to go to the I got a chance to go into the municipal arena that they hold the NAIA national tournament in. And it seats, I think, like 7 or 12,000 seats, and it was an amazing experience. But to sit in those locker rooms, and to be there knowing that this is where college basketball started. A lot of people don't know that. So how are you a basketball guy if you don't know the NAIA? You don't know that guys like Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen and some of our best basketball players in the history of the game played for NAIA teams. So it is
It's different.
it's different. One of the things that there's a guy on Twitter that does the college basketball experience. I think you follow him. I think we all follow him. He said something that was pretty dope a few weeks ago. He said,
Coach Payne
says people don't understand that you getting an award letter from financial aid is scholarship money. It is money for you, whether it's loans, whether it's actual scholarship money, whether it's grants, whether it's Pell, whether it's an opportunity to apply for more scholarship money that you don't have to give back. That's you have money to go to college. And a lot of people think that, oh, I got to get a full ride. My son's not going to school. I hear so many coaches say it. My son's not going to school unless he's got a full ride because I can't pay to go to college. And it's like, dude, no one's asking you to write a check for $10,000 tomorrow.
No, what kills me though? Don't say my kid need a ride. Like my kid needs a full scholarship, and he got a 1.7 or 2.0 GPA.
But here's another thing, and I said it about a week ago on Twitter. Not everybody's a scholarship player. The kids have to understand. I know I'm gonna piss some kids off with this, but some kids just aren't good enough at the moment the scholarship is on the table. And kids and parents, I hope y'all listening, but be realistic. Parents have to understand, and kids have to understand that these coaches are on contracts and they're supposed to win and they're supposed to produce money for the school, winning, and prestige. And when your baby boy wants the scholarship, if he's not drop dead talented where this coach needs him, you're not going to get that scholarship. Kids don't understand that the average university is probably 40 to 50,000 a year. Some are more than that. For a man to pay for you $40,000-$50,000 a year to go to school is a blessing from God. And if somebody got to tell you to go to the park and work out, or daddy got to ask you, did you condition today? Did you do push-ups? Did you do this? You're not a scholarship player. Because at that level, nobody is asking you to work out ever. I went to a low major. I went to a low major. I'm not gonna say low major. I went to I guess mid, whatever you want to call it, Division I. Right? A normal day in the preseason. Normal day in the preseason was 6 o'clock in the morning. We had conditioning. Conditioning at 6, which means I got up at 5:15, lived on campus, took me a shower to wake my body up, and then I had to walk across this cold-ass campus because it's cold at 5:15, get dressed, be stretched and ready by 6 o'clock when that man walked through the door. We conditioned for 45, 50 minutes, and it was non-fucking stop. No run, no break, no water. We after it. From 6:50, 7 o'clock, you're doing your post stretch or cool down. From 7 to 7:15, you in the shower, changed. Now you walking back across campus, and I'm going to the caf. It's time to eat breakfast. At 8 o'clock, I got psychology from 8 to 9, 8 to 8:50. At 9, I got to be back at the gym because now I got my weight room session with the trainer, me and 3 other guys. So now we're lifting for 45 minutes. I got to put my shit back on, walk back across campus, and now I got class for 2 hours. I got a 50-minute class here and a 50-minute class there. Now I'm going to get lunch. I eat lunch, and I got 45, 50 minutes before my next class. I got some downtime to chill, maybe make a phone call or two, maybe study for a test or whatever. And then that next class starts. After that last class, I'm walking back across campus because I got practice for 2.5 hours. After practice, home, shower, dinner at the caf, and then study hall from 8 to 9. At 9, I'm going back to the house, get my shit together because from 10 to 11:30, I'm on the shooting machine in the gym getting shots up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sleep by 12 because guess what? I
Got to be back
I
up
got
at 5:15.
15. Most kids will buckle towards that. Now, mind you, I said that's the preseason. During the regular season, you got film. You still got team lifting. I got to get an individual workout in with my coaches, and then I got to get my own workout in. And then I still got to practice, and I still got to study, and I still got to go to class. A lot of kids want the $50,000-$60,000 scholarship, but they don't want it because they want to pay for school and get an education.
They just want to say they got it because the
They
next
just
man
want to
got
say it
one.
because they want to say they're a Division I player.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people really believe that they are something that they're not. And I'm not saying that it's hard. I mean, when I was going through it in my mind, I was doing what I had to do. You know, it's just this was basketball. But these kids don't understand is that you got to do something better than everybody else to get that scholarship. Every six, and this for all you guards, a 6'2", a 5'8" to 6'2", 6'3" guard, y'all like bus stops. You're on every corner. You can find a guard that can do every single thing you can do anywhere in the world. The only way that you can separate yourself, guards, is by doing something that all the other guards don't do. And which is defend, play both sides of the ball, not pick up 94 feet, knock down your open jump shots, be a good
Have a
leader,
mid-range.
have a solid mid-range. You gotta be flawless. Because when a guy that has a $50,000 scholarship in his hand comes in the gym, you got to be better than the last guy he's seen. And if you not, you ain't getting that. And the game that these kids are playing in today, they'll take a 6'5" guard who's really a 2 guard and let him play the point because he can dribble the basketball up the court. So now you being 6'1", 6'2" doesn't mean shit. Because they can go get one 5'8", 5'9" guard.
Especially if you ain't shooting that bitch.
You 5'8", 5'9", you got to be the best 5'9" dude in the world. And if you're not that, you're not a scholarship player. If you don't have scholarship grades, if you don't want to be in help defense, if you don't want to be coachable, you know, a lot of guys think that, oh, because you bust everybody ass in your neighborhood or you're the best guy on your team, you're a scholarship player. That shit's not true. You know, and then guys that think that Juco is easy. Shit. I seen, man, we can do another Zoom with some of my Juco guys. And they'll tell you it was a war night in and night out. Dude,
it's a dog fight.
It was a dog fight. I broke up many pushing and shoving matches because guys really just got after each other. Yo, there were times when we had practices where the guys didn't want it to end. And was like, hey, dude, it was like, yo, we got a game tomorrow. It's like, nah, coach, we got to keep going. You know? So I think to me, it's like, you really got to be special. And you got to want it more than the next guy. And that little opportunity, that little window to prove to people that you are what you say you are, if you don't prove it in that window, you don't get a second look. You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
fact.
You know,
that's a fact.
You got to show guys, okay, well, this coach is going to be in the gym for 2 hours. These 2 hours, I got to do everything right. I got to be in help. I got to talk. I got to make this mid-range jump shot. I got to pick up 94 feet. I got to rebound because you may not get another chance. You know, and you know, it's almost like you got to prove to us coaches that giving out the money is you got to prove to us that you worth taking a gamble on, because again, these coaches want to keep the keys to their car. They want to keep their house. They want to keep, you know, I mean, I'm knock on wood, I'm fortunate enough to have some job security, but you know, to the kids that's going to watch this, that are scholarship kids, that want to be scholarship kids, you got to understand you have to separate yourself. And if you don't separate yourself, You know, you're not a scholarship kid. And for the kids that are not scholarship kids,
That don't
that's
mean
not
it's not
that's
make
not
that it's
that's
yeah,
not the
it's
end of the
not the end of
world.
the road. Yeah.
I can say this, and I can only speak for my program, but there's probably 40, 50, 60, 70 colleges that give out full rides that we're a better program than. And I'm not just talking about the numbers. I'm talking about exposure, education, what we do as a basketball program,
Mm-hmm.
the coaching staff you're going to play for, the players that have came through our program, just the overall culture of what we've built is better than some of these guys. It's like, here's a whole free ride, you know. And then what these kids also don't understand is that you could run, and I'll end it on this. You could run from a school that either doesn't give out scholarships or that gives out partial scholarships that really, really wants you a part of their program, for a school that is giving out a full ride, and after a year they realize you're not what they expected and they get rid of you, and now
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a school. So kids or whoever reads was, make sure you do your homework and make sure that they want you and you are somebody special, because just as fast as you can get a scholarship, you can lose it. You know what I
True
mean?
indeed. True
And
indeed.
I think that a lot of parents are misinformed. I think that a lot of coaches are not giving their kids enough information, and you know, coaches can't want to be these kids' friends. You got, you know, if you really say that you really for the kids and you want to see the kids succeed, then even if it's not pulling them to your prep school or pulling them to your AAU program, give him the intel he needs to succeed, because at the end of the day, you know in your heart and in your gut, you fucking this kid over if you don't give him the right information. You know, no kid
Try my
wants to
best
hear
to give them.
no kid wants to hear that he's not a scholarship player, but I'd rather somebody tell my son the truth than
Mm-hmm.
lie to him. And you
I
know,
tell my guys, man, just because you go to D3, that doesn't mean anything. It's about going to the D3 that plays the strength schedule better than some D2s and D1s. You
listen,
know, go there,
we
put
ain't
that
even
work in.
we ain't even talk about my program yet, but I don't think in the last 5 years I've probably had if I had 35 guys come through our program, probably 9 out of 35 probably deserved to be at that level. Everybody else didn't. So what's that? 24 guys, you know, 26 guys, you
Mm-hmm.
know, deserve to be at that level. I mean, that don't deserve to be at that level, you know. So the level don't, you make the level, not the you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know you got some questions for me, man. Let me hear what you got, man.
well, my question for you would just be, you know, if as a trainer, how do you skill assess what you want to start working with a kid? Is it a kid coming to you and saying, I wanna work on my left hand, or is it you just watching this game and then you decide what you think needs to work on? What is your way of channeling that? Because as a trainer, I want to see if you do some things differently than we do. You know.
Um, well, with me, I like to see a player play at least twice,
Mm-hmm.
and then see, get him in a session, because the first time, like say if I see you the first time and your coach if your coach can't coach, then now I just gotta go off of what you know how to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the biggest thing that I try to see is like what's his weak points first, like what's he strong at, and then let's see, all right, let's see what we gotta work on,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I get him in a workout, I feel like, we're gonna work on. It just depends. Like, all right, so my little cousin, I went to see his game last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I wound up seeing his teammate. My little cousin's basketball team is horrible. His high school team is horrible. And this kid is like literally passing the ball to himself. It's going crazy. Like you know what I mean? He's just
Mm-hmm.
getting I see that he can get a bucket, but he just doesn't. I could tell he doesn't work on his craft, and he's never probably really worked out. You know what I mean? Or someone shown him how to make the game just simpler. So when I get him, he averages 10 points a game. So this was probably their first game of the season, his senior season. He had like 15, but the 15 looked like he had 30.
Yikes.
So I'm like, okay, this kid could score the ball. So I tell him after the game, I say, yo, you could be really good if you work on your game and you just like, you know, you put the little things to it, you're going to get it. Daquan started working out with me. We started working out in the cold. Like, we didn't have a gym. This is when the season first started. So it's like November. He falls in love with the working out, you know, and I just add things to his game that the little things to build his confidence up and the things that he's going to use in the game. So like, oh, you don't use a floater? Nah, we're going to work on this and we're going to do 100 of these. And then I just try to find ways to make the game fun for them, you know? Like me, I'm big on, you're going to PT because PT is going to, you know, it's going to keep you in shape. That's how my uncle trained me. So if we doing something, we shooting free throws or we shooting jump shots, and you gotta make 10 in 2 minutes. You know, you gotta make the most you can. If you can't make 10 in 2 minutes, we do flutter kicks, iron mics, stuff like that. Daquan got tired of PTing. It's brick ass cold outside, and he's doing his 30 degrees outside. He's doing flutter kicks, you know. So now he's locking in, and I feel like muscle memory, it just helps. And now we going into games in the season, and Daquan seeing the guys that he got to play against, like they get to practice in their school gym. He can't get in his school gym for 2 hours just to get shots up. We outside in the cold. We got to move the snow. So now when he go in the game, he's talking to the guy. He telling him like, oh, you got to play in the gym. You got to work out in the gym. I'm going to give you this work. Daquan went on to lead his division in scoring.
Nice,
you know?
Nice.
And I just feel like, you know, it just comes down to like, you got to know your player and you got to know how to tell him where he's at. Like I told Daquan, it doesn't matter that you're a D3 player. I've only had you for a year. But if you work every day, you work harder than you worked the day before, but you really put the time into your game and work on your craft, you'll be better.
You'll be better. And being a D3 player is not a bad thing. I mean,
at all.
I think
he went to school for free.
I think that a lot of people just misconstrue the fact that you play basketball and it's not Division I. You know what I mean? And I asked her, we recruited a big kid a couple of months ago, and I said to him, what's more important to you, going to a Division I? He got a walk-on scholarship. I mean, walk-on opportunity, rather. You know, I said, would you rather sit on the end of the bench and walk on, or actually go somewhere where you actually gonna play? Like, what's important to you? And he said, I said, if you want to go walk on, you can get some gear and you're gonna, get a chance to hang out, or you can come play for a program where you're gonna get some playing time. You're gonna be able to hoop. You know what I mean? You're gonna be able to be a part of something special. And he wound up getting a scholarship to go to a 4 years Division II school. So I really wasn't mad about it, but he thought about it and was like, you know what? I never thought about it like that. And it's like, these kids get so caught up in the levels instead of just saying, man, I had a great career. We'll get to it, but I coached some guys that did not belong there, did not belong with us, had great career, and shit just went over.
That's why I feel like guys gotta, these like coaches, I feel like like just as much like trainers rather, like me, I'm a film guy. Like my players, they know like I'm gonna watch our film probably 10, 20 times that night. And because I'm looking at it like I never wanted to be a coach. This group that I got was really like a really special group. Like, I started training them, and it went from training them to some of them had some really great. We had a great summer.
Well, some kids are bringing out of you. Some kids are bring the same way we as coaches bring things out of kids. They bring something out of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when and your training methods are a little different than ours. You're training the individual player to be a better player. We're training the individual player to be a better player for himself, but also in our style of play. When I do individual workouts, let's say with, what would say Kevin Major, who's one of our returning guards. If I did something with Kevin Major, if it's one-on-one and it's just me and him, when we do individual stuff, we're going to work on all of the things that he needs to work on that makes his game better. When we do individual workout stuff, which we do probably about 30 minutes every day in practice, we're working on things individually that have a way of tying into our offensive stuff, whether it's reading a ball screen, whether it's how he's going to come off certain screens in certain sets, which is, how he's gonna get open when he comes off the screens, or little small stuff like that. Those are the things we'll work on during maybe that 30-35 minute segment in practice where we're doing individual stuff. Our bigs, they'll be working on stretching away from the rim, catching the ball in places they'll actually catch it within the offense. But if I was to work out with the bigs on a regular day and it's just me and one or two of the bigs, we're going to work on things that are fit for to strengthen their game and tighten up their weaknesses. So I see, by asking that question, I see that you look at how this player can be better overall, where I have to look at it from an overall standpoint, and I got to look at it how to make him comfortable within what we do as a team. So it's pretty much the same. It's just mine has to be more detailed because I have to do twice as much as work. But your cousin seems like somebody that if you're gonna be in the cold 30 minutes of 30-degree weather, that's somebody you want to go to war with, because
and I think that to me, like I told one of the girls that I trained, like I just started training girls too. So like one of the girls I train, like, she always wants to get in the gym. And I told her, I said, being scared, I said, this outside work, like this will teach you to love the game. Like it'll humble you. I said, because when you play against someone that they got to be in the gym and they weren't hot and they didn't have to go through what you went through, it's gonna make busting their ass so much more fun.
Hey man, I don't remember getting in the gym and working on my game till I probably was in college. I got shots up in the playground in my neighborhood. I worked on my jump shot. I worked on my handle. My dad, I'll say this, my father was crazy.
He gave me a good handle drill.
My father, I know the one he gave me. He made me stand in the middle of the street of a one-way street and work on my handle so that I wouldn't look down. I wouldn't to stop me from looking down. I had to literally work on my handle and ball handling drills on a one-way street. So if I looked down, a car was gonna pluck me. I had to look straight down at the cars. I had to keep my head up and get my workout in. But it made me a better player because I pushed the ball and I always kept my head up. And I kept my head up because I always knew where the ball was because he had me on one-way streets, dribbling basketballs. But it worked. And for me, it's like you only as good as me, you talk about all the time, you only as good as your last game. And you only as good as the work you put in. You gotta fall in love with the process. You gotta fall in love with getting in work. A lot of guys, I'm gonna ask you, my next question is definitely a tricky one, but it's a two-part. The first part of it is what do you think about everybody being a trainer all of a sudden? Because it seems like every fucking kid is telling me he's got a trainer. And I remember when I was growing up,
it wasn't no trainer.
It wasn't no damn trainers.
Your coach or whoever that older cousin was your trainer.
So that's the first part of my question. The second part is what separates you as a trainer?
All right, so to answer your first question,
I know some trainers gonna hate you for it, but you gotta,
yeah,
I ain't asking you to call no names out. I'm just
I mean,
curious because when I was growing up, dude,
I think,
I couldn't find no damn trainers.
I think me personally, I say if you didn't play high school ball, you shouldn't be training. Like, but I think it just comes down to the results you see in their kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're able to take a kid that didn't have a name, and he was probably okay, he wasn't great,
Mm-hmm.
and you change his game and you blossom that, I think that's the like. But some of these guys, man, like if you don't, if you wasn't like some of the trainers now are the guys that was like, the war boy, team manager, guys that didn't get in the game, or his dad was the coach, or his dad put the money up for the team, and then it comes down to credentials. Like, some guys might got that bachelor's degree, and they got something that's over you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's who too. It's just like a regular job. It's who like.
Well, some of these guys are getting these kids late too. I mean, I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. You got some guys that's like, hey man, I got Michael Jordan his senior year, and it's like Michael Jordan's blown up now. It's like, well, did you really train him? Because Michael Jordan was kind of hot before you got him. So, but the next generation of kids don't see that. They just think, oh, that's Michael Jordan's trainer, so I got to get with him. And it's like, so I think.
I say it all the time. Chris Brickley takes he takes a lot of credit for guys' game when all he did was just open a gym for them to come to, and like we all know who Cole Anthony trained with for years when he was a freshman at Malloy. Like,
yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? So it's just if it fits the right, you know what I mean? If that person is they got the face for it, like that's.
I mean, it's. I don't really. I can honestly, humbly say I really don't know much about the training game.
It's risky.
My first year after playing professionally, I actually trained some guys and did some training, but it was guys that were in college, and hey coach, hey LeShawn, can you help me get a little better? Can you fix this? Can you fix that? Or what I need to work on? Or a couple of guys was trying to go play professionally. It's like,
my new thing is, I'm not talking to you like. At first, I had said I wasn't talking to guys if they didn't play high school ball. We wasn't talking basketball. My new thing is, if you didn't start, we can't play basketball. We can't talk basketball.
you late to that party. There's only two dudes. There's only two dudes that I will sit and have basketball debates with that did not play the game at some level that I respect enough that I'll have that debate, and those are my little brothers.
Got you.
That's it. If I'll listen to you, but I won't debate with you.
Yeah. I've done debating with people.
If I'm talking to a guy who I know, it's just, it could be a guy in the barbershop. I go to the barbershop. I go to a Dominican barbershop. I love, that's my barbershop. I love those guys. It's the best barbershop in the world because I don't know what they're saying, or, either I don't know what they're saying, or
you got told to be quiet.
They don't talk about basketball. Yeah, my wife told me to be quiet. I'm live on it. She told me to be quiet, but that's real shit. Like we don't talk basketball. So it's like.
Got you. What was your second question again?
My second question was.
What separates
what
me?
separates you?
What separates me? I love my kids as much as I love the game. And I just, from a standpoint that I just want to see the game get better. Like, like before I got into training, I always loved basketball. You know what I mean? Like, I come from a family of guys that really played, that got after it. So when I came home, a couple years ago, like 2-3 years ago, my longtime friend, my man Gooch, I seen him doing this, and he was doing it on Twitter, and I'm like, damn, like we used to do a lot of things back in the day, man. And like he found something that it was, I was intrigued by it. Like, yo, he doing what we love. Like we always wanted to stay with ball, and I remember when he first got into it, and here we are 8 years later, and he's one of the best guys in the city, like if not the best, So I just started paying attention to what he was doing, and then what I know, and me being a basketball junkie, I just threw myself into it. And, you start to build relationships with these kids,
Absolutely.
and then it went from building a relationship with them to now, like they coming to you asking you things, you know what I mean? And outside of the game.
They become a part of your family.
Yeah, and like with my boys is I like to just tell, like I tell guys, like it's different, because once you're a part of La Costa Nostra, you know what I mean? It's it's no way out here. So, like my guys know that I'm gonna fight for them. You know what I mean? And that's in every way possible. Like I don't know any trainer that's just gotten into this at my level and that could say they've done what I've done for kids. Like I've taken kids that nobody knew and had never spoke to college coaches before, and I made that happen. Like no one told me how to make a showcase. I did that on my own, and I did it just to make a way for kids from my neighborhood that, people was not trying to find a way to make their careers last longer, or, I just threw myself out there, and I'm for the kids, man. Like so what makes me different, because I feel like I'm rambling, what makes me different is I've turned down jobs, or I'll turn down a job if it doesn't fit, if it's not for the kid, man. Like, and with that being said, I mean, like, I've had guys tell me, oh, you don't want to be a college coach, or you don't want to do this or do that, to try to say, forget the kid and use the kid to propel my career. And I'm not going to do that. I'd rather take the fallback for the kid to get his career the right way. And I don't know how many people will do that.
Oh, not many. I mean, one thing about this basketball business is there's a lot of people are just opportunists, and a lot of people do things that pretty much benefit themselves. So you sound like you got it. You on the right path. I mean, when I first got into coaching, it was crazy because I never really thought about ever being a college basketball coach. It was never in the to-do list. It was more or less I know it was just more or less like, okay, I got a coaching job, and and I was looking at it from a, let me help guys get the same experience that I got. I got coached by good coaches. I was around good people. I did good things, and I was able to go play professionally and do some dope stuff, and play in some dope countries, and playing some great leagues, play against some great players. So let me see if I can help the next kid, live my life, or live it better. And so, and I mean that hasn't changed now. I mean, it's pretty much still the same. I mean, I want to see the kids succeed. I feel like in this business, if you give it back to the kids first, and you put the players first, it'll come back to you on your side. So I think to me that's the pay it forward thought process that it sounds like
definitely.
it sounds like you have, and we both have in return. But I always wanted to ask that because it's like, it is a lot of trainers out here now. It's like every kid I talk to, man, I'm about to go work out with my trainer. I'm about to get in the gym with my trainer. Or, hey, what you was doing today?
You know what I
find funny
about that is like, so kids will hit me up and say, oh, what's up with a workout? Like, can I come to a workout? And my thing is like, okay, you'll be like, oh, I train with so and so. That's good. So what is that doing for you? Yeah, like what is that doing? Because I'll tell a kid, they'll be like, hey, so could I come work out with you? Yeah, sure. Would you want to work out in a group or you want to work out just you? Oh, I work out just me. Okay. This is how much it's gonna cost and what we gonna be doing. Oh, nah, I gotta pay, or I'm coming to the group. I gotta pay? Yeah. Why I gotta pay? Well, I should take time out of my day. I'm giving you jewels. I'm taking time, like, and they don't understand that. And so I tell them, like, you're not willing to pay. I can understand if you can't, but you're not willing to pay for your craft.
It's funny that you say that because you have a lot of parents. I know parents gonna feel some type of way about this, but who I am is who I am. I gotta say it. I'm gonna say it, and if it don't fly, if it don't apply, let it fly. But parents will buy their kids Jordans and Jordans and Jordans, but will not invest $30 or $25 an hour to work out their kids. And I think for a kid, you gotta look at it and say, shit, Michael Jordan, his sneakers is $250. That's 10 hours of workouts if it's $25 a pop. You know what I mean? And so maybe, mommy, I don't want the Jordans. I want $250 to get 10 workout sessions in with such and such. And I think that's something the kids got to start looking into as an investment. I see parents that say, I don't want to pay for college, but their kid got the Yeezys, or their kid got what are those shoes? Off-Whites. And it's like, okay, well, so you don't want to spend money on his future, but you'll spend money on a pair of sneakers that he can wear down he's gonna wear down anyway. So it's like
that's not even that. He's not gonna have probably 6 months from now.
No, well, they're gonna be on the shelf. So I think I think it's I'm big on my father raised me. What you put in life is what you get out of it, and I feel like a lot of people want to get a lot out of things, but they don't want to put anything in it. And I think that it's a bit mind-boggling to me, because it's like, if you want something, you're gonna have to invest. You're gonna have to put something into it, whether it's money, whether it's time. And I find it funny that a kid says, I gotta pay, and it's like, dude, the reason why you want me to train you is because I'm good. Good is not free. Free means you ain't working well, and that's why you want to come over here to good.
So, and you know what's crazy? Like, a kid hate the money aspect of it, and they just, all right, now I'm good. And like, I got a kid that I started training, right? Mom hit me up. Mom knows my cousin. Hits me up. Yeah, your cousin told me you're really good. A lot of kids are starting to talk about you. I want you to train my son. I seen her son play before. You know the kid I'm talking about. So see him play. I'm like, yeah, nah, he's tough. So now he goes to prep school, and for the last 2 years, he's playing in a better situation than he played in PSAL. But he's not in a situation where his AAU coach, you could tell he didn't play no basketball. So he's not teaching him what he's supposed to. So now I get with him and I say, yo, I see how your game has changed from public school to prep. You know how to pass to the bigs and shit. Now you learned how to, like, he's playing, his coach that he's playing for now was a college coach, and he coached in pro. So he's learning how to play the game the right way. Now I tell him, I say, I'll go over the film of his school, his team, and then now I say, oh, okay, I see what he's missing. So now mom pays me to train him. We start working on his floaters, finishing high off the glass, mid-range jump shot. I tell him, listen, kid, I see you do a lot of pick and roll. You got to be able to be a mid-range killer coming out of this pick and roll. And everything I've ever told him, he either wrote it down or he'll record us training, and then he'll go and work on this shit. Work on them.
Student of the game.
And throughout the summer, probably by our third session throughout the summer, me and him become like just different. You know what I mean? So it go from my regular sessions is probably 30 an hour. And if we're doing one-on-ones, it's probably 30 an hour and minimum 2 hours. I'm charging him for 1 hour and we're working 3 hours, 4 hours, just because I love this shit so much and he's in love with it. And he's just taking everything that I'm giving him to the point where I'm getting on the bus to go to Long Island, you know, or he's one of my guys that's coming all the way from Long Island to get back to Queens.
That grind. He just
you know what I mean? Bro. And he might not be the best kid in my camp or the best kid in the city, but he worked his ass off harder than the best kid in the city, and he got a Division II scholarship out of it. You know what I mean? He got everything. He got what he wanted out of it.
He worked for what he wanted.
Exactly. He played in a good situation where he played a good amount of games, and he had a good coach that, in a sense, is of X's and O's. You know, and I think that
congrats to him, man, because you know, some he was one of those kids that looked at it like we said earlier in this. You want it because it was something he wanted and he worked for it, instead of saying, okay, I want it, but if I can't get it right now, I'm not gonna work for it. Like, he worked for what he wanted.
And bro, like, I could tell you, this kid, man, like, I'm proud of him just because the growth that I see in him off the court. You know what I mean? And he pushes me for me to get better. You know, because I'll tell him all the time, like, I'm holding you accountable, bro. Like, you got, you know, and now me and him got a relationship where, like, that's really my little brother. Like, I could call him. I'm gonna call him. He gonna call me. Yo, how you doing? I'm good. All right. Like, and I feel like that's another thing that really separates me. Like, I don't care if you're my starting guard to the kid that's 12 or 13 on my bench. You know what I mean? I treat them all the same. I'm trying to get the 12th or 13th man on my bench. I'm trying to get him in the best college situation, the best situation I can possibly. You know what I mean? And whether they signed up for my program or not, like, I'm trying to help kids get to school, man, because there's really nothing out here for them, man. Like, and if I could help prevent a kid from going down the route that I went, like, to me, I feel like that's me giving back for what I did.
Absolutely. I mean, it's that, and I mean, look at what we're dealing with in America right this minute, man. I think that if you can show, you know, and you know, I said it to my wife, you know, the other day. I said we do got a lot of kids that want to go to school, be basketball players, football players, whatever. And I told her, I said, I think that we need more kids to want to go out and get degrees for other things. You know, even if they just got to pay to go to school, you know, because we need changes. We need this generation to help push change. So, you know, salute to that kid, because he worked for what he wanted. And you do get a lot of kids in this world that don't want to work for it. Unfortunately, they want it all given to them. And I'm not going to blame every coach, because sometimes it starts at home. Sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, and sometimes it starts with the coaches. It starts with us, and it starts with, you know, it starts with people allowing the kid to think that everything's going to be just here. This is yours. This is yours. This is yours. So
I think my biggest thing with the coaches, like, at my level, is, like, we're not paid. Like, AAU coaches aren't paid. Like, if you're not on a circuit, you're not getting paid. So you're doing this shit for love.
Yeah, you're doing it for love, and the help kids get what they, you know, get something out of it.
You know, but my thing is, like you can't. My thing is, all right, if you're an AAU coach, if you know this kid's not getting exposure that he's supposed to get at his high school, you got to make it your business to develop that kid. You know what I mean? And put him in the right situations. Like, don't just put him in a situation like, oh, nah, you don't want to go there because it's D3, or, you know what I mean? Like, put him in a situation where he can thrive at, where the game is still fun for him, but he's able to win.
Or explain to him that, hey, you're not getting a scholarship, but look at the things that you are getting: an education, a basketball experience.
I'm watching guys tell guys. I seen a AAU a prep coach, whatever you want to call it, tell a kid, hello?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. Tell a kid you should do a second year prep. You know, I don't think anyone, if you graduated from high school and you didn't get what you wanted in that year, like, what is another year gonna change? You know, and my thing is, some guys say that their dream is to play D1, right?
You have to ask the coach. You gotta ask yourself, who's benefiting out of the second year? Is it the player or is it the coach? Because
Well, I mean,
apparently the kid, he's getting something out of it to play another year and chase his dream again. But if his dream's unrealistic, then the coach is the one
and that's what I was getting at. When do you tell this kid that the dream that he has is like he can't get it? Like, you know what I mean? Or he's just got to work harder. Like, you know, like your goal is obtainable. Like, you know, and I don't like telling kids like, yo, you're not NBA material. But bro, like if you don't
give up, but yeah,
you know, like if you don't put the work in, like how do you, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you expect it? Like I had an AAU guy tell me, I said, yo, you know, I don't think this kid should go this route. You know what I mean? And I don't think he should go this route just because look at their track history. You know what I mean? And you know him. He's not ready for that. You know what I'm saying? He's not ready to be alone in that type of setting. He's easily, you know, and he said, well, I don't tell kids where to go or I don't persuade them, this, that, and the third. I said, so, bro, you rather let him walk into a situation that you know isn't good instead of telling him why it's not good and explaining to his parents why it's not good.
Then that's bad advice.
Exactly.
Then you're really not helping the kid.
So now what happens a year later is he's in a portal, and because he's not playing for you, you're not, you know, it's out of your hands now, you know. And I just feel like, so that's one of the reasons I started coaching, because like I had kids. Yeah, I wanted to change that. Like you know, you follow me on Twitter. I'm fighting for my guys every day.
at our level, we just ripped the Band-Aid off. Like I really don't have time to make you believe something that's unrealistic. So for me to tell you you're a higher level player than I know you are, it had to make sense. And when I mean make sense, meaning like it's a difference between encouraging you and then feeding you bullshit. You know, I'm always gonna encourage my players, because if I don't encourage you to see past what you're seeing in front of you, you're never gonna be great. But I'm not gonna never tell a kid, you know, oh you're gonna star for us, and we eventually you're gonna be the star on our team, when I know that that's just not realistic, you know. So at our level, you just rip the Band-Aid on and just say, hey, dude, I know, you know.
Because
I don't know. I guess
that's why I want to that, and that's why like some guys are gonna hate me for saying this, right? And I say that because there's guys that play like national prep schedules, you know, like play top ranked teams, and they're still unsigned. You know what I mean? And that comes, and I tell guys that comes. Me and you both watched the clip, and the kid sat there and dribbled for 16 seconds. He went nowhere besides up on the side of the 3-pointer and back to the corner.
8-9 dribbles and then take a jump shot, and you can't expect to go anywhere than that, because you're not going to get 8. You're not getting 8-9 dribbles at the college.
To just say that I played against a prep school team that got 3 guys that are potentially mock draft guys, but that didn't get you anywhere though, because your coach let you play bad basketball.
Here's the skinny to it though. There's no governing body that is policing good or bad prep schools. So if tomorrow I wanted to open a prep school in my house and start a program, I could. Unfortunately. And so I think that it's a topic, it's a day for another topic, but maybe that's something that you and a bunch of coaches who have the knowledge that you do may need to get together and do clinics and stuff to teach these kids what is, what
Mm-hmm.
it is to pick a school. What are you looking
Well,
for?
that's why.
What's real
That's
from fake? Because I don't mind myself and other and getting other coaches to come on and say, hey, this is how we think. This is what we look for. This is what we,
mm-hmm.
I don't mind doing that, because if that is going to be the difference to how life, I guess I'm not saying life is, but how life transpires, then it is what it is. Like, I don't mind explaining that to a parent, you know, for them to understand, hey, this is what we think. This is what we're looking
Mm-hmm.
for.
And
You
that's what
know,
my program is for. That's what a diamond in the rough is for. So, like we can help you find a college that fits your Like we'll give you an evaluation. This is what we see. You know, I think he could be this, but if he's willing to work on his game and you know, let's put and we try to find the best situation for the kid. Like, okay, you're trying to go to
absolutely.
prep school. How much is your parents trying to spend for prep school?
If it's a prep school and it's not one
But
of the elite prep schools out there, you're I would assume that the coaches or the people who are running it are in it to allow the kids an opportunity to grow, the kids the
mhm.
opportunity to get to their dreams, to help springboard them, to give them another exposure. I don't know if I'm digging to a kid playing prep school to a prep year and then a post grad year. That's a lot of schools.
No, I'm talking about a post grad year and another post grad year.
How's that possible?
Exactly. Like you I've had a post grad program director tell me there's no age for prep school, that it's okay for a kid to be in prep school 2021.
So a
And I
20
don't think
so so a 22-year-old kid who didn't go to school out of college, out of high school rather, didn't decided not to go to college, goes to a prep school after 18, he goes to a prep school at 22.
yep.
What's the that's just I, I couldn't
I
respect
could
that.
tell you I could
Don't
tell you
don't even tell
programs.
me don't even tell
I
me the
know
name of the
programs. Nah,
program,
I wouldn't do that.
because I
I
would
know a
lose all
program
respect for
that's
him.
this kid, my little cousin is 20. This his man's. No, my little cousin's 21.
Because there's
Him
no
and his
doubt.
man's is 21. He's about to be 22. This kid's been playing prep ball. He played a post grad year in North Carolina. Then he came back east and played 2 years prep again, post grad. So he did 3 years of post grad because he owes money to a junior college. So instead of giving the money back that he owed, or just messed up, I'm gonna go play somewhere else. And then we find me a new school, and I'm just gonna go there and don't say nothing. This is what some kids do. you know.
Don't send those kids my way, man.
So and that's why I got so much love, and I gotta shout my guy out, man. My guy, Coach G Money, man. Like he's one of the guys that he's doing everything for his kids, man. You know what I mean? Like everything, whether
There's
it's
some good
prep school or
listen,
JUCO.
there's some good dudes in the business. There's some
Mm-hmm.
good dudes. But
And
again, there's good dudes in every business. There are bad dudes in every business. You know,
and it's just dummies in every business.
it's dummies and everything. You just gotta figure out who's who. But what
Mm-hmm.
you
And
got
I
for me,
think that's where
man?
I'm at now. Like I think that's where I'm at. Like I was at a point where I got to be a part of something, and it was good. I thought it was better than it was, and you got to understand business, and I think, and that's my message to my
B-
young boys, and that's what
Business
I
and
tell them.
basketball don't always mix. They don't always line up,
Exactly.
rather. You gotta find the right place where both mix.
Mm-hmm.
Business and basketball. So and that's with anything. I mean, I realized that. I mean, I've had good agents. I've fired agents.
Mm-hmm.
In my playing days, where it's like, okay, this is a good basketball move, but it ain't a good business move. It's a good business move. This ain't a good basketball move. But you need both.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But what you got for me, man? What you got?
Oh man, so what do you got for accelerating the learning curve?
um, I
You
don't
know
think I
why
would.
I asked that?
I don't. I don't think I'm allowed to say that on a recorded call. Recorded. A lot of yelling, I'm not gonna bullshit. A lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. No, no. On a serious tip, I'll teach. Um, to me, the basketball, practice is a classroom. Um, I'm one of those guys that if I'll say it 2 or 3 times. Fourth time, I'm probably yelling and screaming for sure. But we try to teach guys. Uh, if it's offensive stuff that we're doing, we try to break it up in small little concepts so that when we put it all together, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem things. I try to we do a lot of muscle memory stuff. We'll spend, beginning of the year, we'll spend 25 to 45 minutes on our offensive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really detailed. I want the screen to happen here. I want you to come off like this. I want you to do it like this. I want you to do it like that. So we'll spend a lot of time on really like fine tuning the details. Um, offensively, we'll go over things. On occasion, I try not to give out playbooks, but on occasion we'll give out the plays that we need for guys to figure things out. I'm not a warden where I'm standing there with a stick in my hand, trying to get you to get it right. Um, I do understand that some kids learn faster than others. Some kids have learning disabilities. Some kids, you know, need to see it on paper more than they can see it on a court. Again, I'm dealing with guys that are not all scholarship level guys. So everybody's learning curve is different. But we try to teach you, we try to coach you through it. Um, I don't mind walking behind you and showing you how to do it just to get it done. Um, I believe you as strong as your weakest link. So for me, it's like I'm never gonna put a kid in a position where um, I want you to be nervous about it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids do get nervous because they've heard the legend of me yelling and screaming and being intense. But I try to push our guys to just do it a certain way. If you do it this way, it'll work. If you do it that way. Now, once you know it, and I know you know it, I'm a little harder because now if you're not doing it, then you just you BSing through it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thing with the learning curve is more just like muscle memory. You know what I mean? Even
Gotcha,
myself,
gotcha.
everything I do is even my stuff, I try to do it. I mean, you know, but we're always available to sit down and show kids on paper, show kids in the offense. Um, After we teach something and we've taught it and we throw guys out there, I've got 8 eyes, so we're all looking to see who's picking up on it fast, who still needs time, and then that's when we'll separate. And the guys who got it, we'll put them on one side of the court, and the guys who don't, or just having some time, we'll put them on the other side until they can pick up on it. And then we'll
Mm-hmm.
just, little by little, try to get the whole group back together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Got you. So
that's
that's that's that's pretty. That was a good answer.
mhm.
um, so what's the biggest for me? I try to get the most out of guys, right? So
Mhm.
when you know that you've gotten the most out of a guy, right? Like he's not gonna give you more than this a night.
Mhm.
How do you get him to understand that this is what you're doing and it's
Um,
great for us? Like, and just be great at because I try to tell my guys, just be great at what you're great at. What you're good at, just be great at it. Be the best one at that.
well, my answer is kind of long-winded, I guess. In the beginning of the year, we have we have our team meeting, and we kind of let everybody speak. We let everybody go around the room and explain who they are, you know, what their journey is, because everybody's journey is different. And we talk as a team. We talk about the team goals. We talk about sacrifices. We talk about all of that stuff. And for me, that's something that we've done every year since I've been here. And the main reason we would do it is because we want each guy in the room to know what the other guy's journey is, because we want you to know what you're playing for, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm playing for is different from what you're playing for. But at the end of the day, we're linked together. So I'm playing for your grandmother that passed away. You playing for my father who wants to see me make it. Like, we're playing for something.
Mm-hmm.
So me as a coach throughout the year, I try to have a good relationship with every player on the team. My relationship is totally different from every player on the team. I don't treat the first player and the 12th player the same way, but it's not in a bad way. It's in a way of my relationship is different.
Mm-hmm.
I may have a better relationship with a guy that doesn't play much for us than the guy that plays a lot for us, because they need me in different ways. You know, do I treat them any different? No. Is my relationship different? Absolutely. You know, I've coached guys where they are really good players, but they don't talk much. They don't hang out. They stay in a room, you know.
I was gonna ask you about that.
And for me, I'm not gonna say is, that's just who they are. So I'll have a relationship with them that's different than the guy who doesn't play much, or the guy who plays a lot and he's constantly, we kick it all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
for me is, we can have a practice where, I probably yell more at my players in practice than I do in games. Because in games,
I'm not there yet.
I've prepared you. Yeah, you'll get there over time. I used to be the other way around. But in games, I prepared you for the moment that you're absolutely in at this moment. Because I've yelled at you every time you've gotten it wrong. Well, I've yelled at you in practice. I've corrected you when you got it wrong. You're prepared for this moment. I know that you're prepared for this moment. So, I might chew a guy out in practice, getting him bad. And I'm the same guy that at night I'm gonna text him and just say, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow." And you know that it wasn't personal. I just had to dig in your ass because you was fucking up. And he might text me back and say, "I understand." And then I'll text him back again and just say, "Hey, man, just keep your head up, man. It's not that serious. Like, you ain't getting nothing different than anybody else." If he doesn't text me back, I'm cool with that as well. Everybody handles things differently.
Gotcha.
I would want some acknowledgement because it's a respect factor. But if he doesn't respond back because he's in his feelings, and it is what it is, you shake it off how you shake it off. In games, it's different. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have much time to pick you up and pat you on your ass. In a
Mm-hmm.
game, if I gotta yell at you in a game, it's because we've told you not to do something and you've done it anyway. Whether it's you ain't in help defense, we're saying we don't gamble. That's one thing we don't do at
Mm-hmm.
Wilkes-Barre is we don't gamble at all. And
Gotcha.
so if you gamble, you better be 100% sure. Amir
Mm-hmm.
Biddle was Defensive Player of the Year last year. Played for me. He was National Defensive Player of the Year. And if he didn't get that steal and gamble and they scored, I ripped him. I ripped in his. Amir, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm all over him. But
Mm-hmm.
he knows the next play. He said what he had to say. I know it. Before I could yell sometimes, he's like, my bad. I know, coach, I shouldn't have gambled. And it's over with. But I think a part of it is just building relationships with the players that you have and building relationships with the people that you have, where they know that it's coming from a loving place and it's not coming from a place where coach is just getting on my ass. And I think
Mm-hmm.
I tell kids all the time, and it's usually when we first get them, the day that I stop talking to you is the day that you need to be worried. If I yell and scream at you every day, it's because I care. The days that I don't yell and scream and I literally let you make mistakes and just don't say anything and come on, let me sub this guy in, I don't care, which never happens, but that's the day you worry. The day that I'm yelling and screaming at you, you don't need to worry. Just know that I actually care. So I think with, for lack of better words, is once your kids understand that you love them and you trust them and you care about them, it's not much you can't get them to do. You know what I mean? Because for me as a player, the coaches that I knew that would run through the same wall they asked me to run through, it was easy. No hesitation.
I got one for you. So before we get out of here, man,
you want to know how you gonna ask me how it all started?
Nah.
Okay.
I know. I already know that. So you can ask me the same question. So, what was your thought the first time you got to see me really coach? When I tell you what I thought of you when I seen you coach.
I seen a young version of me. I remember when I first started coaching 9 years ago, when I first became a head coach 9 years ago, rather, I stepped out the coaching's box regularly. I never even knew there was a coaching box. It was literally like, hey, coach, you too far out. You got to go back over there.
Mm-hmm.
I love your intensity. You get after your kids. You coach the game probably how you played the game with a lot of emotion. And I seen a lot of that in me. When I first watched you coach, that was the first thing I said. Was like, okay, he coaches the game with a lot of spirit, a lot of energy. And you can tell that the kids you're coaching, you care about. The way you grab them, you look at them face to face, it's contact. It's a respect factor. You respect him, he respects you. You look at each other, and it's a respect factor. I think that that was one of the main things that I seen was like his kids gonna ride for him. You know what I mean? I seen a lot of me in you as far as, you come in the room, you break the ice. Most of the time when I see my guys, it's a joke. I see there's a group of them. I give them all love. We give everybody a 5. Somebody might got on some tight sweatpants. I might say something about the sweatpants. I might say something. His sneakers is all fucked up. Hey, why you got the fucked up sneakers on? Or, he's standing there with a big shirt. I might say something about the shirt, or and everybody will laugh, or some guys will laugh and push me, and we'll joke, and you got that relationship. Like I seen that the first time I got a chance to see you coach. I think it was last year at Seward. And we were scouting some of your kids, and I seen it. I was like, all right, yeah, I got it. Like I seen it. Like it's you care about your kids, and that's a good thing because honestly, I coach against some guys where it's like they don't have that relationship. I love my players, even the ones that get on my fucking nerves. I love my players. I love the kids that come through my program. I try to treat them with love and I want to see them succeed, and you see that in your dialogue with your kids and in your passion and you don't get that from a lot of coaches. I know coaches in this business that pretty much they wallflowers. They don't laugh, they don't joke. It's business and they can't separate business from caring about their kids actually, so
and I think that's what I got from you, like seeing you coach, like, seeing you coach live is different than seeing you coach on live stream. And I say that because, like you said, I see a lot of myself in you. You're just a lot calmer than me right now, and
I went through that. I went through that stage, man.
But
I remember my
the one
athletic
thing,
director, Ed Durham, told me one day, he's like, "Man, you're not gonna be able to coach at that rate. You're not gonna be able to coach like that long. You're gonna burn yourself out."
Like when I first started coaching, I used to get the headaches. So, like watching you coach though, I took some of the shit that I seen from you, like, how you would talk to Khalil, or, how you'd put your arm around Rondo, you know what I mean? And like explain the game to him.
your voice has to have
Meaning.
values to it, you know. And I think the kids that I've coached over the years, you got to know what makes each kid tick. And that was one of the things that I learned early. And because I learned that, that was one of the reasons why I've been able to have success. I've had kids where I one of my favorite players, and one of my, you know, all my players are favorite, but he was one of my favorite players to coach. He was a pain in the ass, but Chris Canteen, 23 points a game, All-American 2 years in a row, 1,000-point scorer, amazing kid. Yelling at him wasn't enough. Never was enough. I could yell and scream. It wasn't enough. I had to challenge him. I had to say shit that would just really get underneath his skin.
Oh, I got to do that with Anton.
That was the way. And I remember one time going in the locker room at a halftime and breaking the clipboard right over my knee. And I turned to Chris and I said, "You ain't no fucking All-American. And I don't give a fuck what nobody tells you. You're not a fucking All-American." I said, "You got 4 fucking points. You're in foul trouble in the biggest fucking game of the year. And you're not a fucking All-American." I was like, "I hope no one votes for you because of this shitty game here." Now, I didn't mean any of it. And I did, and he'll tell you, I didn't even say it to him angry. I literally said it because I knew that it would fuck with him inside, that I didn't believe he was an All-American, despite the fact that I've been telling him, "I think you're going to be an All-American." He goes out, scores 27 points in the second half, and hits the game tying shot. He hits the shot to go up 2, and then he makes the 2 free throws to put us up 4, and we win the game. And after the game, I know when we got in the locker room, this motherfucker was sitting there thinking, he gonna say something. I'm gonna be able to say something to him. And when I walked in the room, I said, "Now that was a fucking All-American," because it was. And that night he came to my house and he said, "If that's how sometimes you got to say shit like that to me because you made me so mad, I had to show you that how good I was." And he was like, "You brought it out of me." He was like, "I was doing shit that he said I was so mad, but I wanted to get back out on that floor and show you so bad." He was like, that's why I did what I did." And you know, much respect to him. I think he's
I think that's why you're one of my and you being my mentor, and you know, big bro, and we told, you know, and that's one of the things that I take from you. Like, you know, like I use that a lot with Anton. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll tell him when someone's busting his ass, or I think, like, you know, like, "Oh, if you can't do it, man, like you can't get the job done, then I'll just go to somebody else, or, you know, you can sit down." And he just wakes up.
My dad was my biggest fan, and he was my biggest critic. My dad would sit there and watch me in college play really, really well and not really tell me that I was playing well, but I seen it in his face, like, my son is good. And I remember my first college game ever. 27 points. I was 27 points. I was 9 for 13 shooting.
Over 50.
And we went to a Chinese buffet. And
shit.
I'm looking at the no, my mother loves crab legs. So we're at the Chinese buffet and I'm looking at the stat sheet and I'm like, "Yo." And Pops looked at me and he said, "You had 27, you know, but you missed 4 shots." And I'm looking at him and I'm like, 4 shots? I just had 27 on 9 of 13 shoot. Like, I shot the hell out the ball in my mind.
Yeah, you did.
But then we sat down that night and watched the film, and he showed me so many other places where after I looked at it, I'm like, man, I could have had 40. Like, I gave up a shot there. I gave up a mid-range because I drove and got fouled. I created here when I was wide open. I had a fast break. I didn't get out on the break fast enough. And I'm just sitting there like, shit, maybe I didn't play that well, you know? And the next night, and the night after that, and the night after that, and the night after that, I always tried to make sure that when I picked up the phone and called him, or he was there in the stands, I could honestly say I had a great night, you know? And it was like, that was just it. Like, he knew what to say to just make me want it more. And I learned that from him. And I think some of my best players that I've ever coached over the last, I'm not even gonna say 8 years, over the last 9 years, but last 5 years in particular, are guys that I pretty much knew what it was to poke the bear. You had Colton Lewis on your show a week ago. I used to tell Colton Lewis all the time, your ass gonna be in fucking Walmart getting shit off the top shelf if you don't go out there and get fucking rebounds. And even though I knew that this kid was gonna graduate with a,
I think that's gonna be my new line to Marco and Mike.
With a criminal, and I knew he was gonna graduate with a criminal justice degree, but it was like, you want to be a basketball player. And I was like, you know what your job's gonna be? You're gonna be getting the fucking paper towels off the fucking top shelf in Walmart because you don't want to go up there and get a fucking rebound. And every time some old lady come over and ask you to get the Charmin off the thing, you're gonna think about all those fucking rebounds you let go. And he wouldn't laugh. He would just look at me like, this man is crazy. This motherfucker's crazy. And then I remember one halftime, I walked up to him and I said, big fella, I said, think about every rebound that comes off is $100 bill. I said, think about it just like that. I said, if you think that every one of those rebounds is $100 bill, that's what you leaving on the table for scholarships. And then he went on a fucking tear. He had 3 19 rebound games, 2 15 rebound games. He's National Player of the Week. He was National Player of the Week 4 out of 5 weeks in the country. And it was like, he went from being not an All-American to you better make him an All-American. Just like that. And he's just another one, Khalil White. He was another one. He was a kid where it was like, I would say to him sometime, like, I would say shit to him like, dude, if you don't, you got to be more than a scorer. Like, everybody knows you can fucking score. What else can you do? I would text him sometimes, just say, yo, you think you can't get a triple double tonight? I remember there was one game I said to him, I said, you got to have a LeBron night tonight. He like, LeBron? I'm like, yeah. I said, motherfucker, you can't dunk. So 17 to 20, 8 or 9 rebounds, 7 or 8 assists. And he went out. He got 17, 9. He got 17, 9, and 8. He had the numbers we talked about. And sometimes you got to challenge your kids, Amir Biddle is another guy. I say to him all the time, like, Amir, he averaging 20 a game. What you gonna do? I'm gonna lock his ass up. At the end of the game, Amir showed me the box score. Like, look, he had 7. I locked him up. So you gotta find a way to get your kids to go. You know what I mean? You gotta play the game within the game. And that's pretty much, I would say Kelvin Silverberg is probably another one of my favorite players. I would say them sometime, like, you gotta be different tonight. And he just look at me like, what do you mean? Like, you gotta be different. You gotta go out and just fucking kill everybody. Like, that's what you gotta do. You gotta go out here and you gotta be the baddest motherfucker in the world. And he had nights where he was 7 threes, 8 threes, 9 threes. I mean,
Oh yeah, Tommy, give it up.
yeah, he was different. So Jordan Williams, I screamed at him all year. You're the best big in the country. You're the best big in the country. And even though there were a lot of moments he didn't play like it, at the end of the year, he was
When it mattered,
big in the country. Jerron was Rondo. Jerron probably got it the worst out of every player that played for me in my 9 years being a head coach. Jerron got it the worst because when shit didn't go right, he got an earful. He got it. But one thing I can say about him, he got it for all those years. But his senior year, he became the best point guard I've ever coached. And even though he may not have the numbers, he may not be as talented as Charles Burley and Fatim Glenn, who were fucking studs. I got this because of him.
He led the way.
And he led the way. And he was a coach on the floor in some of the biggest moments where he came to me and I'm coming to him and I'm like, hey, what you see out there? What you feeling like? And he like, hey, coach, I'm about to get busy. And I'm like, well, hey, give me the clipboard. And I'm drawing it up. Hey, go ahead. I'm gonna get you in a pick and roll situation. Just dance. Just do what you gotta do. So, and there's more and more and more guys. I can name guys. I mean, I've coached some of the greatest scorers, that played outside of Division One. I mean, I had a kid named Dante Adams who was down in Mexico averaging fucking 45 points at one point. You know what I mean? So, I've coached some guys, but all the guys
I appreciate you, man.
All the guys I know and that I've named are all guys that
got it done.
They got it done, and you just got to
find a way.
You got to find a way to get the best out of them, and you do that with loving them and caring about them and pushing them.
Most definitely.
But as far as what I seen, yeah, you'll get to my time where it's like you don't yell and scream as much. But
I don't know. I fake like it.
Yeah, you'll get older and you'll realize that shit just give you heartburn and gray hairs. You don't want those. I got a bunch of them on the side. You don't want that.
Got you.
What? You get to a point where you'll realize when to do it. I think that's the difference now. I know when to yell and when not to yell. When to make my words matter and when not. It's like my son. If I yell at him all the time, then that's all he hears. He's never going to know the difference when it's serious and when it's not serious. So, on the sideline, you got to be intense. You are who you are. I watch Phil Jackson as a Laker fan just sit there. I could never do that.
Yeah, I can never.
I watch Coach K sit there. I can never do that. I don't even keep a jacket on. I wear suits all the time, and I can't keep a jacket on past the 14-minute mark. About two bad plays in, it's like, hey, take my jacket. I've learned to keep a tie on, but so it's like, but I think it just who you are is who you are. You coach it. We coach it with a lot of passion. We've been around the game since we were little kids. So this is something we love to do. It's not something that
it's a way of life.
I don't even say we love to do it. We were called to do it. My journey and my story of being a head coach is different from the average guy. I didn't go to college and then play and say, okay, I'm going to join my college staff. And or I'm gonna get right into coaching, or after high school I just jumped into coaching. Like this was something that happened, that it just happened. It was not expected. This was not something that I thought I would ever do. If someone would have told me, I used to joke with my athletic director who was my assistant coach, in college. I said to him one time, he's like, oh, the day when you start coaching, I'm like, dude, I'm never coaching. I don't want to deal with none of this shit that y'all deal with. And look where I'm at. I'm coaching now. So, you know, I think for me, it's like I'm blessed. I'm happy that I did it. You know, I'm really happy that I did it. But I'm more happy that the lives that I get to change. You know, 15 pros in 8 years, and you know, and graduating 17 of 20 guys from Penn State Wilkes-Barre have graduated with degrees, you know, and I'm pushing the other 3 guys to finish up now so that they can graduate, you know, having a 94% graduation rate at the junior college level. You know what I mean? Like, we did some solid shit with the coaching staffs that I've been a part of. So as a head coach, so we're doing more than that. You know, I'm watching some of my players now become fathers. I'm watching some of my players now become husbands. I'm watching my players become teachers and using their degrees. So this was worth all the sacrifices. This was worth everything that I've put into it. You know, so I can't say I'm like other coaches that this was a dream, this was a vision, this was just something that happened, and I'm just blessed that it happened. And I was fortunate enough to succeed in it. You know, over 140 wins in 8 years, and a national championship, a national coach of the year, a couple of region championships, a couple of conference championships. I had like my junior college and my college career has been, my junior college and my 4-year career has been dope, you know. And in many ways, dude, I'm just getting started. You know, I'm just getting my feet, I'm just getting my feet wet. So, you know, you said I'll never want to coach, and now you coaching. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. But
yeah, that's a fact, man.
Always good talking to you, man. Always good doing this. You know,
That's a fact, man. I appreciate you, bro. You know, appreciate you dropping
always,
some
man.
jewels for them, man.
Yeah, definitely. And we can jump. You know, we can get on here once a week, man. I don't care. You know,
Got you,
we can do
got you.
something. Next one we know we got to do on the IG live.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
I know that one gonna be 3 hours.
Yeah,
All your fucking kids gonna ask a million fucking questions.
you know
Hey,
that.
what do you think it is? Or how's that happening? Or what do you think of that? So we can definitely
I
get on
appreciate
that. But
you, bro.
always, man. Thanks.
It was
Love you, bro.
good, man. Love
Always,
you, man.
always
You
love you
know,
too, man.
stay safe. Tell Baby Shark and Mo I send my love.
Will do, man.
You already, bro.
I'll get up with you, man.
All right, later.
All right.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Later.
All right.